Hey you guys, so we are back. Sorry, it's been probably like a week since I uploaded a video, but Christy and I are back from our trip in Jackson, Wyoming, which was absolutely stunning, and we had a great time shooting our couple and clients, and hopefully you know, as the weeks progress, maybe we'll be sharing some of that video here on this channel with you. But today is not about that. Today is about a whole bunch of things because, well, for starters, my little brother, Michael, and his wife, Chrissy, just had their first child literally about like 10 minutes ago, or like 10 minutes before I sat down to record this. So congratulations to those two. Apparently now I am officially old because I am an uncle. So that's really awesome. Between traveling and new family members, there's been a lot going on that has not exactly been AV related, but that doesn't mean that there isn't AV topics to talk about today. And one of the things that I did want to talk about today was the fact that it just seems like every time I look at the AV news space, someone or some brand or whatever is coming out with or discussing smart speakers. And if you think smart speakers are a fad, I think maybe you should probably stop watching this channel and get out of AV altogether, because smart speakers are not only a fad, they are the arguably only growing market within the mass consumer electronics specialty AV space. And this has become abundantly clear even in the specialty AV space, because what, 2-3 years ago, home automation has always been a big thing within CEDIA, but about 2 or 3 years ago, Amazon started appearing in the CEDIA space, and I think it was last year and the year before, Amazon dominated the CEDIA space, and that's in the CEDIA shows, and they are arguably just exploding in that market. And as a result, other companies, Google, Sonos, Riva, a bunch of other third parties, they're all jumping aboard, and there are kind of emerging platforms and ecosystems that surround smart speakers, and it's really an exciting time. And I have to say that I'm really excited because I am receiving Bowers & Wilkins' new flagship wireless loudspeakers. Actually, I got the stands sent to me yesterday, but I don't have the speakers yet. But I'm really excited about this because the high-end market is starting to embrace the new technologies. And that actually means a lot for our community because, well, first of all, it means a lot for our community, but for some people, and maybe some of you watching this, it marks the beginning of the end. But for these brands to stay relevant and to attract new, younger, but albeit upwardly mobile buyers, they need to create products that speak to them. And right now, what people want are great sounding lifestyle speakers that basically pack everything and the kitchen sink into their performance without the need of excessive wires, electronics. And since we are going to be getting into talking about the digital space and digital music streaming, it makes sense for us to also talk about smart speakers. Now, the beautiful thing about some of these higher end smart speakers and some not so higher end smart speakers is that they're not forgetting analog enthusiasts. So this means that there's a whole swath of turntables out there that either have Bluetooth capability built in, one of which is the Audio-Technica, which I have in-house that I am going to be reviewing soon, but also just they're making peripheral products that allow you to take your analog components, your favorite stuff, your vintage stuff, and bring it into 2019, 2020, and that is amazing. But for those of you that left analog a long time ago, the days of needing, shall we say, maybe even receivers, power amps, cables are coming to a close. And I, for one, and I know Christy for two, is extremely, extremely excited about that. And smart speakers, I think, fall under two categories, and those are, smart speakers that you can verbally talk to, a la Amazon, Google, and things of that nature. And then there's just the smart speakers that have a lot of built-in capability, but are more or less just powered loudspeakers. And I think I understand people's fear of the voice-activated smart speakers. I do. I happen to actually love them. We have a Google speaker of some type in most every room in this house, but I get it if you don't like having a listening device in your room or in your home. The fact that so many of these things tie together so seamlessly, so easily, and they bring a sense of not only distributed audio to a home for thousands of dollars less than what it used to cost, but it does make it possible to kind of walk through your everyday life and enjoy content, meaningful content to you on an individual basis in a very kind of hands-free sort of way. And that is amazing. Now, up until this point, that level of convenience was often tied to very chintzy speakers, but we're seeing more and more people from the big market or big box brands all the way to the esoteric boutique brands getting in on this action. And the fact that we have, Bang & Olufsen's been there for a couple of years now, but Bowers & Wilkins making a huge push. Harman, hey, you guys remember Harman Kardon? I know a lot of you in the comments have talked about Harman Kardon, like, oh, they haven't made a receiver or this, or are they even a brand? Turns out their Citation line has gone full Skynet. I didn't know this existed until last week, and now I want a pair. So you best believe I will be asking Harman to send me their new Citation line of smart speakers, because holy hell, they sound as good as they look at those price points. That's really remarkable. I get hammered in the comments by some of you guys because of price. Not so much because I say you have to spend a lot. Obviously, if you watch this channel, you know that I'm not big on emptying your bank account. But I will stand up and defend costlier products, because you do get what you pay for in a lot of respects, and for two reasons. A costlier product, like let's say for instance the L100 Classic that I reviewed that so many of you watched, that's $4,000 speaker plus a little extra for the stands. Now, I happen to think the stands should not be extra, so I do ding Harman and JBL for that. But all that aside, at $4,000, I did make reference in that review that the price really wasn't that different than when they first came out in the 70s, adjusting for inflation. Now, a lot of you said, oh, paper this, aluminum that, wood vinyl veneer this. For $4,000, you must be joking. But you have to remember something. These speakers are still sold in brick and mortar stores, which means that they are providing for an ecosystem that, while it may be shrinking and dying, without speakers like this, people lose jobs, livelihoods, businesses just simply cease to exist. So there is a certain amount of, hey, I'm buying this speaker and I am therefore supporting a much larger piece of the pie than if this speaker was sold direct. Obviously, if the L100 Classic was able to be sold direct from Harman's website or JBL's website, it would likely cost $2,500 or maybe $3,000 a pair, and not $4,000. But you have to understand that you are paying for a premium product that should, not guaranteed, but that should come with a premium buying experience from the dealer or rep selling it. So if you know that going in, then yes, it can be expensive, or it obviously is more expensive than, say, an SVS loudspeaker, but you are getting a lot more by way of support and experience, and then hopefully performance for that money. Now, I know that that's not always the case, and everyone, you're free to chime in below about, oh, I had a bad dealer experience and all of this, and I get it. I get it. There are exceptions, if not good quality service may be the exception to the rule in 2019 as opposed to the everyday. But I never ding a product based on its cost, because cost A is relative to the person willing to spend that money to buy the product. But second, let's look at what it's supporting, where it's being sold. And if it's not for you, it's not for you. But coming back to the smart speaker, like the new Bowers & Wilkins bookshelf speakers that I'll be receiving, I think they're $4,000 a pair. That includes, I believe, the stands, but don't quote me on that. But $4,000 again for a pair. When you stop and think about, these speakers no longer require you to have an amplifier, as the Bowers & Wilkins are concerned. They may not even require you to have a preamp or receiver, because a lot of televisions now have Bluetooth and wireless speaker connectivity built in. The new Sony 950 that I have has this capability, which means I'll connect the TV directly to the speakers, in theory. I haven't tried this out yet, but in theory, which means my Marantz receiver is no longer required. My Crown audio amplifier is no longer required. My transparent speaker cables are no longer required. My transparent interconnects no longer required. I literally have a TV, a Roku, and 2 speakers. The fact that the TV then has the Google Android interface and voice activation built in, and if I didn't want to use the Roku, I could use the built-in Android and Google Play Store in the television, meaning I now have a 2 or 2.1 channel home theater system that it consists of speakers and a television that's smart, that streams at high quality, and that with the addition of a $299 box, I can connect any turntable I want that I have, like my U-Turn Orbit, to this, and it will then communicate wirelessly now with this ecosystem. And that is the promise. And the fact that Bowers & Wilkins is now mixing that with high quality materials, style, design, we might be there. I mean, again, I don't have these speakers in-house yet, but we might just be there. And if this works as advertised, how long until this takes over as the norm for what people want? And how long until more and more TV manufacturers build multi-channel wireless decoding into the displays themselves, allowing you to have more than 2 channels? Now, Bang & Olufsen, they're already there. Bang & Olufsen televisions can go out, I think, to 7.2 with their wireless loudspeakers, which means you just need to make sure that you can plug the loudspeakers into a power outlet and you are done. Because Bang & Olufsen had this 2-3 years ago, and I was just dying for it then. And now to see Bowers & Wilkins kind of adopting something similar, Harman & Kardon having something similar, Lexicon getting into the game. I mean, this is exciting stuff. And the fact that I don't have to forego or get rid of my vinyl experience, and there are tools and methods and ways to bring my vinyl experience into 2019, 2020 while doing away with all of this other clutter. I'm a minimalist. I like stark. I don't like amps on the floor. I used to have, remember I said I'm a recovering audiophile? I used to have an 8-foot tall rack that was some, I don't even remember, 100 rack spaces or whatever it was, and it was full. It was full up, 100% full, no more room, can't hold any more gear. It was full, and that son of a bitch weighed, oh my God, hundreds of pounds. And even though it had casters that were like this big, it was a bitch and a half to move. And to think that all of that now could potentially become superfluous in a year or 2, maybe 3. What do you guys think about smart speakers? I'm a fan. I jumped on the smart speaker bandwagon several years ago. I have one of like everything at this point. You know, I've had the Google Home Max, I've got the Google Home, the Google Home Pod. We've got some Alexa speakers. The Home, the Home Pod, the Apple Home Pod. I got that. I've even turned dumb powered speakers like my JBL 305s into smart speakers using Chromecast audio dongles. And that's the other thing that's really cool is, you know, if you have powered speakers that you want to include, like say for instance, the Cantos behind me, like they are not, they don't have like Google Home or Alexa built in, but you can easily add it using little dongles like the Chromecast audio. Or connecting them to something like an Alexa Pod or Puck or whatever the hell it's called. But anyway, I mean, this is what is exciting, because I literally, I was checking the internet today and kind of news stories, and it's like, what do I want to talk about? And I saw more press releases and more commentary about powered speakers. And sadly, in the AV press, a lot of the powered speaker news is trying to vilify this push, either calling them, for lack, maybe not directly, but inferring that they are nothing but trumped up Bluetooth speakers that are cheap, and any real audiophile wouldn't monkey with this stuff. Or just saying that, oh, but you don't want listening devices in your house. You don't want this. You want cables, and understand that narrative is going to exist. It's just going to exist because, well, there's still a good size market that needs to talk about amplifiers, cables, preamps, source components, things of that nature. But make no mistake, the future is powered, the future is wireless, the future is smart. And I'm going to be embracing it because it's really, really exciting stuff. It's where the real innovation is happening right now. And the fact that I can still be an analog fan and love my records and my turntables while incorporating all of this new technology. And now that I'm a full-fledged, member of like Tidal and Spotify and all this, and digging into this digital ecosystem, that I can talk to the air, if you will, and pull music out of nowhere and have it sound so good. That's just amazing. That's just amazing. And I'm here for it, and I'm excited by it, and I'm just amped right now. Got brother had a baby. We just got back from a great trip, and powered speakers, sexy powered speakers are coming. So thank you guys so much for sticking with this channel, sticking with us when we were out of town. I know it's been a hot minute since we've uploaded something, but we're back now. We will resume our normal posting schedule. That's the update. So let me know, what do you guys think about powered speakers? Let me know in the comments below. Obviously, I love the dialogue. As I said in my last video, because of the comments you leave, it often ignites topics for noise complaints going forward. So steer the ship, people. Let me know. Where are we headed? Where are we going? Where's this ride taking all of us? But until next time, and until the news breaks, thank you so much for watching. Take care, everyone. Happy listening. And we'll just see you on the next video. Bye.